Hello again, folks. I'm back again with a look at some of the moulds that I showed you and how they worked. On the whole, I was very pleased again with the quality of the moulds and the things they produced. So let's have a quick look. This was the little dress, and easy to use, and I think you'll see that they've turned out pretty well. Okay, I haven't done anything with them yet. They could do with a little bit of a sand or something, but they just popped out of the mould. They were brilliant. What else was good? This was good. The angel wings. I did have a problem. Which one is the problem? This one. You can see that a wing broke off, and it is actually quite thin there. But I then, and that one came out at the same time. That one was fine. Then I did it again, and I was just a little bit more mindful. So when you're using something like this, particularly if you've got delicate areas, it's a good idea to make sure that you put a larger bit of clay in and sort of push it in, rather than put little, bits of clay in and push them together, where you've got sort of joins near. And I think that's what I'd done. I've got like a little join of clay in a very fragile area, and that's why the bits broke off. But those ones came out fine on there. The stars came out fine. That's another thing I'll talk about. But because they are they've got points on them, and you can possibly see, I don't know if you can see right at the end of that one, turn it around a bit, see if it'll, there, on there. Can you see that it's kind of got a hook on it on the end of the thing? And that is because they're so delicate when they come out that just handling them makes them bend and not very good. So I've done some more and just left them in the mould, and we'll have a look at those in a minute. The leaves, the big leaves, have come out fine. Now they haven't dried particularly flat, but I actually quite like that. But those came out beautifully. I love all the veins on those. And the smaller leaves, they have come out fine. Those ones and these ones. Again, they were easy to pop out. There are some very, very tiny ones somewhere. These ones here, I mean, they're minute. And I didn't do many of those because I thought I'm not sure I shall use anything quite that small. So the leaves, I'll show you the moulds for those, but those came out fine, even though they are actually quite shallow. I've got bits of glue and stuff on there, but yeah, so they're quite shallow, but they popped out fine and they were not a problem. This one gave me a little bit of trouble, not these things here, but trying to pack clay into this stick area. That was a little bit tricky, and it was a bit tricky getting it out, but I could have done it and left it to dry, and I think it would have come out better. But it wasn't a disaster, and I like that little flower. And I think, was it that leaf and that leaf that came from there. So I mean, it's not a disaster, but it was fiddly packing the clay in and fiddly getting it out again while it was wet. So I think I would probably do those and leave those to dry in future. Where have we got the sunflowery thing? And I was worried about this because it seemed to have sort of multiple layers inside, but these just popped out brilliantly. I think those are lovely, nice and easy. The Christmas things now, I'll come on to those. These have come out absolutely fine, and that is everything except the snowflake. And the snowflake was very delicate, and I tried to get it out, and I've decided it was just going to break, and even if I got it out, the prongs wouldn't stay in the right places, to just bend. So I've done another one and left that one to harden, but I just wanted to show you all of these have just had clay pushed into the mould, and then the clay just popped straight out, and I've not done any fiddling around with them. These ones have been drying on a paintbrush to give them a little bit of dimension for different projects. So let's have a look at the snowflake. Well, I'll tell you what else we'll look at actually. Look at the heart. Now the heart came out okay, but I had to fiddle with the mould. There were some prongs on it and I'm not sure if they were supposed to be there or not. I checked it against the other one because remember there are 2 in a pack, and they were still there. So but they just didn't, it was making this piece really, really weak. And in fact, I've done it a few times and this little pointy bit just fell off each time. So I doctored the mould a bit. I chopped out 2 little bits from it so that we've got more clay getting down to the point. And they've come out okay, not too bad. But I thought I would do another one because it's so sort of fragile and thin down there. I thought I'd do another one and leave it in the mould until it's dried, which it has done, and then obviously it's much easier to pop it out. So I think that looks pretty good. The things I've cut, these things here, I don't think they're supposed to be there, those bits there, and I think some of these bits as well. I think they're extras that you know, have just got into the mould or when they were making it, and they're obviously churning out lots of these things for us to buy. But that one, you know, I just cut those bits down a bit, and I don't think it really matters because if you're using it, no one's going to sort of look and think, oh, there's some extra bits or whatever in there. I'm just going to compare the two actually. I think it's a slightly different colour being left. I don't know if there's any reason why, but there we go. So that was that one. So what was I talking about? Yes, this one here. So all the other things just popped out nicely from the Christmas one, but not the snowflake. The snowflake was just too delicate. So let's see what it's like now it's dry. Just see. Yeah, I mean that's come out beautifully, and look how pretty that is. It might be a slow process making one at a time because I don't think I've got 2 of this mould. But that is really pretty. I love that. So that worked fine. The stars, I redid the stars. Oops, well they came out easily. They look like they need a bit of a sand around the edges because I did push the clay in, but the points are better. Where are my other ones? I think. Come here. You know, I don't know. It's slightly straighter, but you know that one's the one with a little bit of a bent prong, but I think these will look better when I've given them a little sand, but it's hard to tell. The others don't need sanding, but they've got a bit of a wonky prongs, so I guess it depends what you like. Right, the next one I'm doing is the birds. I looked at the birds' tiny feet and I thought there was absolutely no way those are going to come out while the clay is wet, so I've just filled the mould and I've let that dry. So let's see what happens when we try and remove the birds. Right, he's not too bad. I'm not sure, well, I'm not sure he had any feet anyway, really, to speak of. This one, let's see what happens with him, because this had got feet, but it just looks really, really... Oh, that's all right. Look, he's come out okay. Let me focus on him. Yeah, he's not too bad. I'm just going to leave it focus like that for a second so that I can show you closer. Let's pop him out. I mean, they're so delicate. Look at their little feet. They're so delicate. Sorry for banging the camera. Hopefully you can see his little feet there. I mean, there's no way they would have come out intact with wet clay. And these, I mean, they're so cute, but they're quite fiddly. Let's get them both out if we can. And I will show you. He's got, I don't know what he's got on his head, if that's supposed to be on that. Yes, it is apparently. Can you see those? trying to fiddle with the focus. I think I took autofocus off, you see, so let's go back on the table for now. So yeah, those birds are not too bad, but they are quite fiddly. Now, this is the one I wasn't too pleased with. This is the button one, and I know I said to Roz, Crafty Mama Paper Crafts, that I would let me try it out first. The reason I was hesitant over it, it was very, very shallow. So there wasn't much. So I tried to get some of the buttons out. Now I managed with those 3 only to get them out, and I just didn't think they looked great. So I've just put wet clay. Some of them, the tiny ones, I didn't think they were going to come out whole. I don't know if you can see the pink bits. I think those are for the holes. Now for some of them, you can't see them when the clay's at the top, so obviously the holes don't go all the way through like that one. But for these, when I was sort of sorting it out, obviously they've done it so the holes come out the top. So I've put the clay on, and then I've used one of these, I forgot what they're called, a embossing tool or something like that, but one with a tiny point, not this great big one, just to clear away around the things. But I don't think there's enough room between these 2 stopper things to leave enough clay to make that a viable piece. That's what I was thinking. So let's pop some out and see. Well, we could try and start with that one, couldn't we? Because, oh, it has come out. I'm going to eat my words, aren't I? So it's not too bad. Definitely couldn't have done it while it was wet. But look at those. This one I think was one of the ones I'd done before. Yeah, they're not too bad. I mean, they're okay for, you know, for decorations. That one's definitely better than the one that I did and popped it out. You can see that it got bent. Just handling them with the clay wet and misforms them. So that's definitely better, that one. And there we go. I'm just not sure about them. They're okay, but they're a little bit fiddly, and obviously you're going to have to make them and let them dry before you use them, get them out the mould, because they're just not, that's quite pretty, but they're not like these where you can just put the clay in and pop them out and make a load and then wait for them to dry. This one was a bit stuck. Oh, that's quite interesting though. Quite like that one. So I got this heart with the prongs. Yeah, not too bad. Really can't complain at those. And they'd be pretty on like a sewing project or something. There you go. So not too bad, but they're very, very thin, and you can see that the gaps between some of these sort of peg bits, it's really hard to get clay in there. You just have to keep pushing it and sort of manipulating it and trying to get it in so that you've got some, otherwise it'll just snap in half because there'll be nothing in there. But no, they seem to have worked. Well, there you go, another success. Quite happy with all of those. So I shall have more things to play with. Anyway, I just thought I'd come back and share how the moulds had worked fairly successfully, I would say. And bear in mind, I'm actually quite new to clay, so I don't really, I'm no expert at all. I literally am just shoving wet clay into a mould, and for these sort of things, pulling it straight out again, and for some of them, leaving it to dry and then taking them out. So if I'm doing something wrong, do let me know. But I'm happy with my results so far. Anyway, that's it for now. I've got to go and play with all this now, or make some more. Thanks for watching. Have a lovely day, and stay safe and stay well, and I'll be back again soon. Bye for now.